Hello friends, I am Manoj Mittal. So today we are going to learn how to build a Microsoft Azure bot using Lois, Qna Maker and Azure SQL. So as you can see on the window, we have a couple of components which we are going to use during this learning. We have Azure bot. Bot is going to interact with a Lois. Lois is have a intent which can be none or user defined. So none means when when we are typing any questions and it doesn't it doesn't exist in my defined source code. So going with a none. So none is going to talk with the Q&A maker and find out the respective answers against the questions if found. User defines, I'm going to define some particular intent, and based on those intent, I'm going to hit the SQL query to get the data and respond back to Azure, respond back to dialogues, and dialogues is going to present into the Microsoft Azure bot. So let's get started and see how it works. So I'm going to log in to the portal.azure.com. So here I just click on the create service. After create service, I move to the AI plus machine learning. So here I'm going to click on the web app bot. So once I click the web app bot, here I'm going to create Azure bot framework. We just give any name here, Azure SQL bot 01. So I already have one bot with Azure SQL bot. I just go to the steps what we need to follow. So I'll just use the subscription. What subscription you have, you can use the resources, whatever you have, locations, pricings, Azure bot. Templates is important. I'm going to use the Qna Maker as a template. Just click on select. Okay. So here app insights, it's up to you. You want, you can take it. Otherwise, I just put it off as of now. And just click on create. Once you click on create, it will take a couple of seconds and you will get the Azure bot service. So I'm just going to cancel this one. I already followed this step and have a bot defined. I will navigate to that section itself. I just click all resources. So my Azure bot. So this is my Azure bot. What I used, I just click the Azure SQL bot. So once we go there, Azure SQL bot, we need to click on build. Once we click on build, there is a couple of options there. We can edit the code using the Visual Studio Online editor, or we can download the code and just build the code on our local machine. Again, push it to the particular Azure SQL bot what we created here. So I just clicked on download zip file. So it will bundle, it will zip all the source code, and we can download and open in Visual Studio and start working. Okay, so let's wait for a couple of more seconds. It will give me the download option. Yep, so once it's come, just click on the download zip file. Okay, once you got, you can go to the zip folder where it's downloaded and you can unzip it. So once you unzip it, you will get the solutions, something like that. Okay, so the solutions you will get a one controller file, you will get a dialog with a basic Qna Maker, and these are the two files are there, and your controller is going to call the Qna Maker. So here I'm going to add the Lois and define the intent, and parallelly I will add the entity framework model. So with the help of entity framework model, I'm able we can just fire the queries and get the data. So basically entity framework is an object relational mapper that enables the .NET developers to work with the relational data. So let's go and click one. I'll just create the entity framework first. Click on add new item. Okay, so before that, you can just right click on the reference, go to the manage new package. So once we download, some of the references are not in build state. So just it will be better if you just go to the NuGet package, click on updates, and just wait for a couple of seconds. It will show all the broken references. You can select, it will more than 2022 plus. I have already done, so it's not showing to me. Just select all those and just update your all the references. Once you get, so all will come in build mode, otherwise it will come as a broken mode. Okay, so here for entity framework, this entity framework reference is pretty much required, so it's by default come with a framework. If it's not there, so add the entity framework model. I right click the solutions, click on add new item. So here we can select ADO.NET entity model. Here I'll just give the name of any device model. Okay, so before defining the entity entity data model, we should have a table in database. So I just logged into SQL Server. So you can see on my window I have a database where I have created the table named the TBL underscore device details. Here I have created 3 columns. Device ID is a primary key, device type, device count. It's a very simple table which is hold the device types and the how many device I have in the system. When I click on select query, so it's give the detail. Device 1 is a CPU, device 2 is a hard disk. CPU has a 10 quantity, hard disk we have a 20 quantity. So we need to fetch this detail in our bot. So this is the agenda. So let me go back to the Visual Studio and add the entity framework model. I clicked on add, just click on next. So here we can just create a connections with our SQL. So for a SQL we need a database. So I'll go back here and put it my server name. So I'll take the username what I used. I'm using the SQL Server authentication instead of window. Okay, so database I'll take, this is my database device data. I just clicked OK. Include the information. So just that's depend whether you need sensitive informations or not. I just add it here. Okay. So once it's come, so let me go back. Okay, that's fine. Sorry, I need to type it again. New connections here. Okay, SQL Server. Let's see it. Password. I select the database. This is my database. I clicked on test connection. Text succeed. Okay. Okay. Let's just yes. I want to include. Okay. Next. So I select the table. So this is my model namespace, device data model. That you should remember that one. I clicked on finish. So once I click finish, so it will create entity database model, and you will get on a UI also what are the column exist in the table. It will appear here. So yeah, so it's done. So here go to the solutions. You can find your entity framework model created the entire model. It's there. So this is the table which is having a class. It's created by default. Okay, this is my context class. So it's quite simple. Now go back, I click to the dialog, add new file. So I just added a class. So class name, I'll take it from here only. I'll just have a snippet of the code just for setting home here, root Louis. So here I got it. So here we need to create a 2 intent. One is a none and one is a user defined. So what I will do, I'll just copy paste as is my code here. So I'll explain you what is this. Okay, great. So I'll move it this one. Yep. So namespace, we will just make it same what we have in Qna Maker. So I will take the same namespace. Go to the Louis. Yep. Okay. Great. So here is a none. So in the none intent, we are doing what? We are nothing. We are just forwarding our message to the root dialog. If it's not none, we have a device detail. So from where it's come the device detail? Let me log into the Louis. So this is the Louis sections. So if I go to the louis.ai, so here let me log in. Okay. Okay. So here we are going to use the Louis app where we'll go to the create our own intent, and that same intent we will define here. So here you can click on the create new app. It will create a Louis app. So I just created an app with the name of device info. So once you define, then this window appear here. We can define our intents. So none is come as a by default. I created one intent for me, device detail. So this intent is having just one entry as of now. I added. So let it come. Okay, I'll just check it here. Yeah, let me know about existing device. So this is my query. If I type this query, it will recognize this relate to this intent. Based on that intent, I will fire the query. So you can see it here. So this is my intent. Based on that, I will go and fire the queries. Okay. So here I did the quite simple things is here. So this is my device data entities. Okay, 1 minute. So let me take it this one. So we need to put the namespace same, so it should recognize. Let's have a Q&A bot. Okay, I'll move it there. Using Q&A, it's not recognizing. Okay, Q&A bot. That's it. So here, okay. So what I'm doing, I just created the object of the device data entities, and here I'm just using that particular object what we have a table, getting the data from that into the table. So here we got the multiple records, just using the list and taking the item by item and appending to the string builder object, and then using the context.post async method, which will just post whatever the data we got. Okay, we'll just let me build this solution and try it out. Okay, so some error is there. .NET compiler is not there. Okay, so some references failed again. So let me go there and check it. So it says Microsoft .NET compiler 2.1. Okay. Oh, should be installed. Browse. Okay, so I degraded this particular library Microsoft.NET .compilers to the 1.2.1. So that I just did and updated. After that, just move it back to the root louis.file and edit all the references on the top. Whatever the references required, that is the Louis dialog and Louis intent, all are recognized. If you see here in my entity framework classes, but I use device data entities, so it's recognized and it's coming from the Q&A bot. Okay, so that's done. So the last step is here in message controller. You should use the Louis class instead of Qna Maker class. So for me, the root Louis is my Louis class, which is going to define where I need to go to the Qna Maker or the Louis. Okay, so that's all. So we'll just go and publish the solution. So for publish the solution, we need a profile. So profile, we can again go to the Azure SQL bot. So in Azure SQL bot, you can go down here in application, all app service setting. Here we have the get publish profile. Just click it here. It will download the publish profile. Use that publish profile for publish the solutions. I already downloaded and mapped it here. I just clicked on publish. So in the meantime, I'll just show I have a Qna Maker where I have defined my knowledge base, have some questions like hi. If I'm going to put hi, it will give me that particular response. Okay. Similarly, in a Louis, if I just type this one, it will query to my database and give me the data. Okay. Let's go and check the status of the bot deployment. So it's done. So let it complete. Okay. So in the meantime, I'll go to the Azure Bot My Device sections in a test chat window. Test in web chat. So we'll go to the Louis and just take this question. Let me know about the existing device. Okay. So just now I deployed. It will take a couple of seconds. The initial moment. Yep. So we are getting the device. If you see in my database, I have the same things. The CPU is at 10, hard disk is at 20. So this is also written in the same input. So that's all for today's session. Thank you very much. If you find useful, so like or subscribe my channel. Thanks very much.